Good morning.
Good morning.
We are extremely pleased that you are here. We are extremely pleased that we are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. This is really what this gathering is about. For this combination of beings has not been before. That which you are and that which we are. As we're moving forward together, it is our knowing that we will move beyond that which has been. It is the reason for your physical experience. You said, I will go forth into the physical experience, and I will chew on the data of this time and place. I will become familiar with that which is there. I'll get a sense of how it is. And I will reconnect with my broadest knowing, allowing pure positive energy to flow through me into this time and place. As together, even in our great differences, we take thought beyond that which has been before. You are knowing what you are wanting. You come with reason. It moves about a bit, doesn't it? Have you noticed that some of your wanting erupts out of an awareness of what you do not want? Have you noticed that you never know more clearly that you want to be well than when you are sick? Or have you noticed that you never know more clearly that you want more money than when you do not have enough money? So sometimes out of that lackful experience erupts wanting. I want to be well, you say, or I want more money. But what happens is the wanting, as it erupts and as you speak it, your words are empty and hollow, because the vibration from which the wanting has erupted is still dominant and lackful. And so what we have noticed as we have been interacting with our physical friends, who are wonderful action-oriented creatures, believing very much in action and in words, very often you are saying or doing one thing when you are vibrating in opposition, and your vibration is what makes the difference between what is coming to you. It is not through your word or action, but through your vibration that you are attracting. Some of you have been interacting with us, and you have heard us say in the beginning, you are the creator of your experience. And many of you say, yes, I can accept that, especially when things are going well, you are willing to accept that. And then in wanting to be more explicit, we say to you, you are the creator of your experience, but a better word is you are the attractor of your experience. And many of you began to resonate with that word attract. It was a better word because rather than going out and getting something, it was more of the idea of being there and vibrating there and bringing it to you, which is how it all happens. And then in greater expression, we began to say to you, as you think, you vibrate. And as you vibrate, you attract. This is the way all things happen within your experience. And today, we are wanting to take you a little further in your feeling of how this happens by saying to you, it is all about the way you flow your energy. If you will stop often in a day and ask a very clear, simple question, how am I flowing my energy? Then you will have a very clear sense of how it is things are coming to you. As we are moving forward today, we are wanting very much, if it is your wanting, for you to discover how you are flowing your energy relative to different issues. Sometimes what you think you're doing and what you're doing are not the same. If there's something you want that has not come to you yet, then we will say to you, you are not flowing your energy in harmony with what you want. What trips you up, you see, is that you count on words or action. The universe does not understand your words. The universe does not hear the difference between yes and no. When you say yes to something, it is usually something you are wanting. And by your attention to it, you are bringing to you this thing that you are wanting. When you say no to something, it is usually something you are not wanting. But by your attention to it, you are attracting to you this thing that you are not wanting. So what we are wanting to assist you in recognizing is when you are vibrating with something that you are not wanting. And as we're moving forward, we will show you how to very subtly transmute that energy so that you are always consistently flowing your energy toward what you do want. And once you begin to do that, once you start understanding clearly how you're flowing your energy, and once you are more deliberately making decisions about what you're wanting and how you are wanting to flow your energy, then that is when you begin being that which you have come forth to be. Until you are connected with this non-physical stream of energy, you are not adding unto this physical time and place in the way that you have intended it. If you were living in an earlier time now, that is quite a statement, isn't it? You've lived in many earlier times, but if today you were living in one of those earlier times, or if you were living in a more remote village today, the percentage of positive influence as opposed to negative influence would be many, many, many more times positive than negative. You could live to be very old and never know of anyone murdered. But today in your society, so connected with your technology, you have scouts that go all around your world looking for negative things and bringing them in encapsulated form right into your living room, exaggerated fashion. So what is happening to you as you are living today is that there has been a constant, steady eroding of this feeling of well-being. Non-physical energy, pure positive energy, streams into your time and place. It is the same energy that created your planet to begin with, and now it is the energy, the life force, the God force that sustains it. Everything upon your planet receives this pure positive energy. The rocks receive it fully. The beasts receive it fully. The plants receive it fully. It is only man who sometimes does not allow himself to receive it fully because he has learned to focus upon lack. He has learned to think thoughts that cause him to vibrate in a way that causes him to step out of this stream. When you are within this stream of well-being, you are clear. When you step out of it, you are confused. When you are within this stream, you are secure. When you step out of it, you are insecure. When you are within this stream, you are vital and alive. When you step out of it, you are tired and lethargic. When you are within this stream, we call you connected to who you are. When you step out of it, you are not connected. Disconnected is too strong a word, but we use connected and disconnected as a sort of scale to help you feel whether you are within this stream of well-being or out of it. And so it is our wanting, as we are interacting here today, to assist you in stepping into that stream so that under any and all conditions you are flowing with that which you are. When you are connected, you are so clear-minded. Your timing is good. You zig and zag through life effectively. You attract things that you're wanting. It is delicious. In fact, there is nothing in all of the universe more delicious than to be physically focused and connected to that non-physical stream at the same time. And we will say to you that there is not anything in all of the universe more terrible than to be physically focused and not connected with this stream. You're never really disconnected. We'll put it this way, when you are, they pronounce you dead. And even then you're not disconnected because in the moment that you re-emerge into non-physical, you are fully connected again. So you will get the sense of this as we are moving forward, that the way you feel is your indicator of all of this. You cannot see how you are flowing your energy. You cannot hear how you are flowing your energy, but you can feel how you are flowing your energy. Many times our physical beings will say to us, Abraham, I'm not sure how I feel. I'm sort of numb. And we say, that is common. Because as you want something, you flow energy toward it. But as you doubt it, you flow energy in the other direction. So there is a sort of tug-of-war going on inside of you. As you want it but don't believe it, as you want it but can't figure out how you will get it, there is energy flowing in two different directions, and it puts tension or strain within you. And so you have discovered that one way to ease that tension is to release the wanting. By releasing the wanting, then there is not so much strain. But by releasing the wanting, you also lose your sense of guidance. When you release your wanting, you don't feel the pain so much, but you also don't have so much sensitivity to it. So what we are wanting to assist you in doing is making more and more and more and more and more decisions about what you do want. Flow more and more energy toward what you do want. And then rather than, when you feel that tension, when you find yourself flowing energy in opposition to what you are wanting, rather than releasing the wanting, we're wanting to assist you in transmuting the energy and getting all of the energy flowing with what you do want. And as you flow your energy with what you do want, not only does that tension or strain diminish, goes away altogether, but you get into the flow, you feel momentum, you feel vital and alive. That is what passion is, and that is what makes things happen fast. And that is what all of you intended to live as you came forth into this physical experience. Passionate, delicious physical experience. And so your question is, how does action fit into all of this?
Yeah,
if it were not
because
for my action, this would not be happening?
I would be...
Hang on to that for a little bit.
Okay.
You can sit, but
Okay.
hang on to it. It is a big question because you are action-oriented beings.
Yeah.
You are relying almost completely upon your action and your words to make things happen. It is not that we discourage action. You've come forth into a physical environment where action is a delicious and an important part of it. What we are teaching is that if you will flow your energy in advance and then follow that energy flow with action so that you take action that is inspired, in other words, action that you are being called to rather than action that you are being prodded to, then you have a comfortable, joyful experience of that which we would call ease. Now, what you are describing here, you see, for a very long time, you've been talking about what you want. You had been identifying that you were wanting more dollars. You had been identifying a lot of things that were important to you. But in almost without exception, in all of that identifying of what you did want, you could not shake yourself from the place of being where you did not want to be. So many of our physical friends will say, Abraham, I want to get over there, and then I will be happy. And sometimes over there is more money. Sometimes over there is in a body that feels better. Sometimes over there is in a relationship that is better. It's a lot of different things. But always we say, you have it backwards. You must be happy, and then you will be over there. And they say, Abraham, that's easy for you to say. You're not living lack of money or lack of a body that's healthy or lack of love. And we say, even though you're standing over here without what you want, if you can look over there and talk about what you want and why you want it, then even though you're standing over here without the physical manifestation of it right now, by looking over there and talking about what is over there and why you want to be over there, even though you're over here without it, you will vibrate as if you were over there. And when you are over here vibrating as if you were over there, then what's over there can come over here. So there was a lot of energy that you had spewed out. In other words, you had been wanting dollars, but then you had been worried about them not coming. So you kept diluting your energy, which was what made things slow in coming. But there was a never-ending wanting within you. So your wanting energy stayed just beyond your doubting energy. So even though it was a grind, even though it was slow in coming, even though you suffered a lot as you were moving through it, still the wanting is supreme, and so something broke through. Now, as you are now standing in a place where you are feeling greater financial security, in other words, now there is not the lack of dollars pressing, now you are in a good spot to, from your position of where you are now standing, to begin talking about what you do want from where you now stand. In other words, very often, as we said earlier, when you're living something you don't want, that's when there is an eruption of what you do want. So you may very well be saying, I'm liking the dollars that are flowing, but I'm not liking to have to put so much time into these dollars. And so you're saying what I don't want is having to expend so much physical action for these dollars. We say, good, now you're talking about what you don't want, but always when you know what you don't want, you know more clearly what you do want. So what is it I want? I want greater sense of freedom. And then as you talk about why you want the greater sense of freedom, then you begin to vibrate so that you attract processes, you attract ideas, you attract other people, so that you find yourself not expending so much physical time and energy. You see what we are getting at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
We were talking, let's touch on something here. We were talking with a woman not long ago, and she said, Abraham, I'm sick. Can you help me? And so we asked the question that you would expect Abraham to ask. We asked her, what is it you want? And she said, I want to be well. So then we asked another question that you would expect Abraham to ask. We said, why do you want to be well? And she said, because I don't want to be sick. We said, good. Whenever you know what you don't want, you always know more clearly what you do want. So what is it you want? And she said, I want to be well. We said, good. Now, why do you want to be well? And she said, because I don't want to be sick. We said, good. Whenever you know what you don't want, you always know more clearly what you do want. So if you don't want to be sick, what is it that you want? And she said, I want to be well. We said, good. Now, why do you want to be well? And she said, I don't want to be sick. Our physical friends have talked about being stuck, and we always say you can't be stuck because energy is always in motion, but this one was as close to being stuck as anyone we had seen because her thought patterns could not budge her from this spot. Our goal was just to get energy flowing, and so we probed a little negatively since we could not pull her positively. And even if we don't do it, life experience does, doesn't it? In other words, if you don't transmute the negative, don't worry, it won't go away. It will stay there and keep attracting until it's loud enough and big enough that finally you will identify what it is you do want. So she said, we said to her, what's so awful about being sick? And she said, I'm cooped up, I can't get out. And we said, what's so awful about that? And she said, I'm lonely, it's boring. We said, good, now if you don't want to be cooped up, lonely and bored, then what is it that you do want? And she said, I'd like to get out more. And her energy broke loose. Everyone in the room felt it, for it was the first time in years that she was actually speaking and flowing energy in harmony with what she was speaking. Now, what you are describing to us is that sort of clarifying process where even though you knew what you wanted, and even though you were speaking what you wanted, and even though you were taking action, we're talking about all of these months preceding this sort of breakthrough, your vibration was still more focused, more pushing against what was not wanted. And that's normal. In your physical environment, that is the orientation that has been taught to you. There is a war against drugs, a war against poverty, a war against AIDS, a war against cancer, a war against crime, a war against teenage pregnancy, a war against violence, a war against terrorism, and all of it is getting bigger and every day. Because as you look at that which you do not want and you say, no, 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 you flow your energy toward it and add unto it. But eventually, with your sensitivity, and you all have it, eventually you attract enough of that that you are shouting no about, that eventually you come to an awareness of what you do want. And when you come to the awareness of what you do want, it is quantum leap fashion catapulting. It is almost like you get catapulted into a whole new room, or a whole new range, or a whole new level of wanting. And then with not a lot of allowing, in other words, once you've had that strong awareness of what you do want, it only takes a little attention to it in order to start bringing it to be. What happens with so many of our physical friends, once they have identified what they do want, whatever it is, they start hitting themselves over the head with questions like, how will I get it? When will it come? Where will it be? Who will help me? Who will bring it? And as you ask questions that you don't have answers to, it aggravates or stirs up all sorts of beliefs that trample your desire. In other words, if you say, I want more money, and you say, how will I get it? If you knew how to get it, you'd already have it. And so that question automatically, it's like shooting yourself in the foot, you see. But when you talk about what you want and why you want it, you bypass all of those beliefs that have been holding you down, you see. Friends, we want so much for you to hear and to know that nothing affects your experience other than the way you are flowing your energy. It is not circumstances, it is not economy, it is not government, it is not Mother Earth, it is not your own mother, it is not your own past. Nothing affects your experience other than the way you are in your now flowing your energy. And you can tell by the way you're feeling how you're flowing your energy. If you're discouraged, you're flowing energy toward what you do not want. If you're feeling anger, you're flowing energy toward what you do not want. So when you feel negative emotion, Don't beat up on yourself about it. We see a lot of you doing that because you know that it is positive thought that helps you get what you're wanting. So we see you, once you are feeling negative emotion, then you start beating up on yourself for having negative emotion. And then you get off on another tangent of negativity that's even bigger than the little one that started it. But if instead you will feel the negative emotion and you will feel appreciation, you will say, oh, my guidance system is working. I can feel that I'm flowing my energy in the opposite direction of something I want. Now, what's bothering me here? Poke around at it for 15 seconds. That's quite enough until you can really feel what you don't want, and then let the eruption come forth within you of what you do want, then talk about what you do want. And this is the process that took place within you, only instead of it happening in a process of pivoting or transmuting energy in a few seconds, it took a few months for you to come to the clear recognition of what you did want, and you had to aggravate your wanting into a strong enough place that the wanting dominated. See, what we're wanting and what you're helping us bring forward here is, and so many are feeling it, when you are really, really, really living something that you do not want, there is always an eruption of what you do want, but you're not trained then to give your attention to what you do want, because they have taught you to get where you want to be by pushing against what you don't want. And so most of you struggle so much with what you don't want that you don't let yourself vibrate with what you do want. We would not agree that you need pain in order to identify what is wanted. You are becoming more and more inner being-like every day. And let us tell you what we mean by that. The only difference worth mentioning between you as you are physically focused and your non-physical counterpart or inner being or higher self or soul or whatever you are wanting to call that source of energy, the only difference worth mentioning is that your inner being does not address lack. And sometimes you do. Whenever you think a thought, the thought that you think vibrates, and as it vibrates, it either finds harmony or it does not find harmony with the greater vibration of who you are. If it finds harmony, then you are full of your inner being. You're full of yourself. You feel secure. You feel vivacious. You feel vital and alive. You feel happy, exhilarated. But if the thought that you are thinking is not in harmony with who you are, then you vibrate right out of range of your source of energy, and you feel tired. You don't even want to get out of bed. You feel discouragement, depression, anger, all of those negative emotions that you've been describing. That's what it feels like when you've vibrated out of range of your inner being. Now, the little ones are closer to knowing their well-being. That is what we meant earlier when we said if you were living in an earlier time or in a more remote village. But as physical beings that are part of this society, most of you have been, by habit and by influence that surrounds you, you have trained yourself to much more readily look at what you don't want. As we visit with our physical friends and we say, what is it that you want? You are much more practiced in telling us what you don't want and why you don't want it. Because you have really come to believe that that's how you, if you can just defeat this, if you can just trample what is not wanted, then once it's gone, you will be where you want to be. But it doesn't work, does it? And the longer you try it and the harder you do it and the more attention you give to it, the more discouraged you become. So what happened is you sort of reached a place of giving up. You sort of reached a place, you said, I was ready to pack my bags and go back. In the moment that you stopped pushing against, you had your breakthrough. So what we are suggesting is give up sooner. And what we mean give up is give up the struggle. Give up pushing against. Give up identifying what you don't want and relax into what you do want, you see. And so you will never have another experience of that poignancy. In other words, with that experience, you've had your breakthrough. Now what we are wanting to do here is shed light upon what really happened so that you can flow your energy toward what you are wanting, take your pivots at an earlier subtle stage. You see, if there is something that is bothering you and you don't know it, it just sort of is eating at you, and it keeps coming up, but you keep not acknowledging it, but feeling it, but not acknowledging it, then through all of that, you're flowing energy towards something you don't want, and you're diluting something that you do want, but you don't know it because nobody's explained it to you, and your sensitivity to your own guidance system is sort of numb. But if you don't know it, then it's going to get bigger. In other words, law of attraction says that whatever you're vibrating, you're going to keep attracting. So the more of what you don't want that you're vibrating, the more you attract it, till it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, until finally, as you say, there was an evoking of awareness of what you did not want. Good. That is very good. Is that as you begin to equate energy flow or projection of thought with feeling rather than with words, with feeling rather than with action or place. In other words, as you start considering all things from the standpoint of how it feels rather than how it looks, then you have transcended into this area of managing the way you are flowing your energy in a very productive way. That's a very big jump for most physical beings. In other words, most are nowhere near understanding that you're feeling your way through things rather than seeing or working or banging or you see what we're getting at? It's the same subject that makes physical beings not understand why an infant or a little child could have a negative experience, because they think that the child must be able to communicate and articulate and understand in terms of a physical setting. In other words, they think that miscreating is all something that somehow you are doing in some sort of deliberate or unconscious fashion, while what miscreating is about flowing energy. And flowing energy is not about being able to communicate it or see it. Flowing energy is about vibration that you feel. You are flowing energy whenever you are remembering something. You are flowing energy whenever you are describing something or explaining something. You are flowing energy whenever you are visualizing something or imagining something. So what you are experiencing here, you have been flowing a tremendous amount of energy toward living happily ever after, toward attracting harmonious circumstances where you can utilize your creativity and in exchange for your physical creativity receive remuneration. In other words, there are so many intentions, so much of the visualization, of the remembering, so much of the positive flow of energy that you have been offering in advance is all now culminating in this event. But there is so much more to come. In other words, this is just a little tip of the iceberg. This is just the beginning of your physical manifestation or the physical result of all of this energy that you have been flowing. So now as you regurgitate in your mind, as you remember how this happened, as you talk to each other about the synchronicity of all of that, then you add still further power and clarity to the energy that has been launched. You see, every day you add to the energy that you are flowing. We're wanting to use the word power, powerful energy flow. But some of you do not like that word power because a lot of power has been used against you, or you fear that it might be, and you don't want to be one of those bad people that uses power against anyone else. And so the word power is unsettling to many of you. And so you replace the word power with purity. You see, when you are talking about what you want and flowing your energy toward it, and if you will stay with it for 5 or 10 seconds, and then 10 or 15, and then a minute or 2 or 3, within 3 or 4 or 5 minutes of flowing your energy only toward what you are wanting, you are flowing your energy so purely that it is powerful. That is the advantage of a visualization session or a workshop. But then often what you do, even though you have flowed your energy powerfully and purely, then at another point in your day you are thinking about that, but you're doubting it or worrying about it. And in that moment you are diluting your energy. So now your energy is not powerful, or better stated, not pure, because it has been diluted and energy is flowing into opposing directions. When that happens, your magnificent guidance system says to you in the form of negative emotion, you have just begun to flow your energy in opposition with something you want. So that negative emotion is your indicator, your clarifying indicator that says to you, I've just started flowing energy in opposition to what I want. What is it that I want? And why do I want it? And that way you round up that negative energy flow, you transmute it, and you begin flowing it in the direction of what you do want, you see, so that you are again pure in your energy. Good. And then you live happily ever after. Then you have event after event after event that you say, isn't this an amazing thing?